All right, guys, welcome to Live Production Tips and Tools. My name is Sam. So today we are going to be watching live this new announcement from Sony. So again, let me know in the chat. If you're watching, let me know your reaction. I'm not gonna take much time. I'm not gonna talk a lot. So let's go ahead and watch the stream from Sony. So I'm gonna be reacting in real time. So let me know what you guys think. This is a surprise announcement from Sony. So here we go.
Cinema has the power to evoke emotions, gives inspiration, open up new worlds. Together with cinematographers, Sony has continued to develop digital cinematography. It all started with F900 in 1999. Since then, there have been so many advances based on feedback from the cinema production field. Then, Venice opens up full-frame digital cinematography in 2017. Its phenomenal color science and creative versatility have been well received. And the evolution of Venice continues. Now, we announce a new digital cinema camera.
Bigger playing field in order to make any kind of adjustments that you need to make.
From what we're seeing in this extremely contrasty environment, the latitude is spectacular.
The noise of the camera, firstly, there is very little noise.
It feels pretty film-like.
Incredibly natural.
Internal recording is really important.
It's a much more compact package within the gimbal.
Now, a new chapter begins. Here's everything you need for unprecedented filmmaking. Venice 2.
My personal approach is never to sort of reinvent something in the grade. It's always to try and get it as close as possible to what I want it to be on set. And that's what this is enabling me to do, which is great.
So I think with the improvements that we've seen in the sensor, in the ergonomics of the camera, it will facilitate cinematographers' visions much more accurately, and we'll see a really nice flow through from what's in the cinematographer's head onto screen without as much pushing and pulling as we might normally expect to have to do.
I think the big thing that I can really see that's different with the Venice 2, and I think it's even visible in the viewfinder, is just how much more dynamic range I've got and how much more information is in there. I'm shooting stuff here in the desert under very harsh lighting conditions with deep shadows and really burned out, hot highlights, and it's hanging on to it. And I know when we get into color timing, I'm going to be able to find all kinds of stuff in there that I would never have found in previous cameras.
So when the first rushes came in, the contrast ratio on a lot of the shots is massive in a 709 or a standard dynamic range environment. You think, well, there go the highlights, there go the shadows. And then you start grading the material and everything came back.
Venice 2 inherits the look of the original Venice that was so well received by cinematographers around the world. Venice 2 has an exceptional 16 stops of latitude. It has an exposure latitude from 6 stops over to 10 stops under 18% middle gray. Venice 2 with 8.6K sensor has 2 base ISO. Choose between base ISO 800 and ISO 3200.
The high ISO modes we've shot 3200 as well as our base of 800. There is a very small difference that I can see between the ISO modes, but they're incredibly clean.
It's a jump, I'll admit. Obviously the ISOs have been bumped up in both instances, so it does, it enables me to shoot a higher speed if needs be in low light levels, which is something that wasn't really an option before. So that for me essentially is the big gain.
Was seeing stars in the sky that none of our eyes could see, and the shadows look really, really clean, where, you know, like of a night sky, and that's at max ISO of 3200, and it looked really clean. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing it, you know, in the post suite, and which will really tell us what I expect to see, which is really clean, rich blacks.
The colour rendition of the camera has been incredibly natural. With the Venice towards the end as well, and now especially this camera, the colour rendition is really beautiful.
Color, especially on skin tone, just kind of roll off and look just beautiful. It feels pretty film-like. Yeah, definitely like an oil painting.
Wow. 8.6.
Venice 2 has a newly developed full-frame 8.6K sensor with new shooting formats, and more to come. The film-like look of Venice can now be used in an even wider range of cinematography.
Well, what's interesting here is that this is the first time I've ever used that larger sensor, the 8.6K. The results are, I think, quite astonishing in the sense that it's like the Venice Part 1, as it were. It was that anyway. It was fantastic.
The original Venice was very good as well, to be honest. So, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely sharper. I mean, oh my God, I go back to the days of film. And
I think once cinematographers start shooting with the 8K, they won't want to go back to shooting with anything else.
We looked at, we blew it up to a 1-to-1 ratio, and it was pretty spectacular seeing the 8K, so the detail that we could see on the 8K. I haven't really looked at the color of the roll-off, and I'm anticipating it's going to be just as good as the original Venice.
Venice 2 with 8.6K sensor is now capable of 5.8K 6x5 anamorphic shooting. The canvas area is wider than 4x3 format.
And we were lucky enough to get some anamorphic lenses that will really, so for the full cinematic effect, that really utilize that whole sensor.
By shooting in 8.6K mode, it is possible to produce high-quality 4K film with less noise and more detail than conventional 4K shooting. High frame rate recording, up to 60 frames per second at 8.2K 17:9, and up to 90 frames per second at 5.8K 17:9.
Wow, if you want to make a movie for Netflix, this is the camera to get.
The 8.6K image sensor enables new creativity, not only in shooting, but also in post-production.
Yeah, I think, I find 6K is more than enough much of the time, especially if, I like to, lately have been framing in 2-to-1 aspect ratio quite a bit.
Even if it's a 4K project, shooting in 8.6K will allow you to take advantage of the wide canvas to crop and zoom without compromising image quality.
Wow, this is fantastic.
VisFX are always going to ask for more resolution. They'd be very happy with it, I know. Really loved that it was 6K. I mean, they would have preferred 8K.
Venice 2 is available with the internal XOCN recording, so it's even easier to handle. Existing AXS memory cards are compatible with Venice 2. For some shooting modes, a new high-performance card will be released.
XOCN XT is obviously the highest format that you can shoot, and it is gorgeous to work with. You get access to every single piece of data that the camera captures, and as a colorist it makes your life a whole heap easier.
Venice 2 also supports internal recording of Apple 4K ProRes 4444. Venice 2 offers complete production flexibility with a wide range of recording formats.
Internal recording is really important. You know, just not having to run any cables and so on and so forth, and again, not having that extra recorder on the back. You know, shortens the profile. That actually allowed me to do shots in a, you know, that's not a big vehicle we were in, and we could fit in there comfortably even with some of the camera assistance bells and whistles attached to it.
Well, it's great not having like an onboard, like a giant onboard recorder on there that could come disconnected, that needs its own power. That, you know, it just comes with a lot more problems. So having it internally and being powered by the camera CPU is great.
Venice 2 has an internal 8-step ND filter mechanism that is unique in its class.
Well, you know, you get those last-minute inspirations about, well, I want the background more out of focus, or I want the background more in focus, or whatever. And because of the dynamic range of the camera, and you know, if you're using fast lenses, and I do like the Zeiss Supremes because they're, you know, T1.5. Whereas normally on set, adding or subtracting an ND would be a semi-time-consuming process that would annoy both actors and directors if it's the last second. And with this camera, I mean, we all the DPs I know love the built-in NDs on this camera.
Extension system for Venice 2 with 8.6K sensor is planned to be released by early 2023. It will enable more flexible camera work by taking advantage of a smaller and lighter camera head.
Wow.
If I was working with a version 2, I'd want a Rialto for it as soon as I could.
This is nice.
The Venice 2 is so compact
something.
with XOCN internal recording that it enables a new level of shooting versatility.
It feels a great deal lighter, which is good for Steadicam. But this is just this little box here. It's quite nice.
I mean, what a difference. It's a much more compact package within the gimbal. You know, the weight itself, I can keep the whole gimbal down to under 15 kilos.
Yep, this is nice.
That really did bring a smile to my face. That was lovely to see. And it's testament to Rob as well that he's shooting in such an aggressive way that in most circumstances you'd expect the camera to break. So the camera's getting a really, really heavy workout. So if it can survive what Rob's doing to it in the environments it's doing, and the footage looks as good as I'm seeing it, then you're going to have a field day as a cinematographer, because it's going to solve so many of the problems that you run up against.
The camera really helps that. It does. It really helps me to sort of move fast, make those decisions, and know that I'm going to get the details that I need.
Venice 2 uses magnesium alloy for its housing and media slot cover for exceptional robustness. Ventilation system is completely separated from electric boards and parts, while also enabling easy access. There are two control displays. The main control is on the outside of the camera. The other is a compact one on the camera operator side. Venice 2 is equipped with many input-output terminals. Based on filmmakers' feedback, a new Ethernet terminal is placed at the body end. Venice 2 has a modular design that easily adapts to almost any shooting requirement. Venice 2 is available with the new 8.6K sensor and also the same 6K sensor as the original Venice. Of course, it is designed so that original Venice accessories can also be used. Venice 2 is a cinema camera for cinematographers who continue to challenge at the forefront of cinema. Sony will continue to seek the ultimate in image quality and visual experience for cinematographers and audiences. Emotion in every frame. Venice 2.
Wow, wow, wow. Venice 2. This is good. This is really good. This is awesome, guys. This is awesome for folks who want to do some Netflix movies. If you want to pitch something to Netflix, this is a camera to get for sure. This is high end. I'm not gonna lie. This is a really high end. I don't even know how much actually. That's why they don't even talk about pricing, because I think Venice
How
1.
do you take your channel from pretty much nowhere?
I think Venice 1 was like around 42,000, stuff like that. So this is a camera for high-end cinematographers. This is not gonna be for anyone, obviously. It's a camera with a lot of features, and of course it requires some budget. So if you just got here, welcome to live stream. To the live stream. My name is Sam, live production tips and tools. We were watching the new camera announcement from Sony, and yeah, so Sony just announced a second version of the Venice. The first one was CINÉ ALTA Venice, and then they announced the Venice version 2. And it's an 8K sensor camera, and I would say it's really ideal for people working on high-end movies, stuff like for Netflix and stuff like that. So yeah, I really didn't know what to expect. Let me check the reaction. I'm sure other people, because it was a surprise. Not that other people knew what it was gonna be. But yeah, here it is, guys. Venice 2. You can go to Sony's website and check all the specs, but it's gonna be 8K. It's a 8.6K sensor. 16 stops of dynamic range, and I like the option that you have that you can extend the camera, because it's a super heavy camera. Let's be honest, it's a super heavy camera, so it's not something you can just put on a gimbal. But they made an extension now that you can take the camera and kind of take the extension, put on a gimbal, something a little lighter, and then you can plug it to your actual big body. So if you want to use a gimbal and stuff like that, it's really good. So yeah, this is good, guys. Again, I didn't know what to expect when I saw the announcement, but yeah, here it is, Venice 2 from Sony. So let me see how is the chat right now. A lot of reactions from people, for sure. People were looking forward to this, but again, my personal opinion, I feel like this is gonna be a camera for Netflix, big budgets movies. This is not like a 10,000 kind of camera thing. This is like a 40,000-50,000 camera. So that's that. So if you hear, my name is Sam, live production tips and tools. Welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining. Let me see. what I got in the chat. If you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. Again, let me know what you where you're watching from. Let me know what you think about the new announcement. Did you expect anything different? Did you expect something different from Sony? Let me know, guys. Let me know what you think. But looking at the camera again, it's crazy. 8.6K. You can shoot in 4K using the 8.6K sensor and actually be able to crop in and get a nice good looking actually picture, which is really, really good, especially looking at the fact that not a lot of people are looking into filming in 8K. So you film in 8K, maybe you crop it a little bit and you get 4K, and it's super, super dope. So again, this has been the announcement from Sony. If you guys missed the video, you can watch it from the Sony website, sorry, from the Sony YouTube page. But other than that, let me just take off these headphones. The announcement was really short. It was it was a premiere actually. It wasn't even an actual live stream or something. So it was a premiere from Sony. And yeah, so again, let me know what you think in the comment. If you watched the video with me, or go back, you can go back and watch it from the start, or go to the Sony website and Sony YouTube page and watch it, and let me know what you guys think. So I'm probably gonna end this live stream. My GH5 again. I'm gonna end this live stream, and I'm gonna come back at 10 with another live stream. So this was dedicated for Sony announcement. So again, I'm gonna come back in a few minutes, just talk about normal stuff, camera stuff, live streaming and stuff. So if you're new here, if you're watching, I'm gonna be back in like 30 minutes, around 30 minutes, 35 minutes, at 11 a.m. Standard. Look at Clapford. Hey buddy, you missed it, man. You missed it. So yeah, welcome, man. Welcome to the live stream. So yeah, so basically I was actually thinking about ending the stream and coming back in 30 minutes, but looks like people are coming in, so maybe I'm gonna keep going. Anyways, I was talking about the new announcement from Sony, and basically they announced the new CINÉ Alta Venice 2. So it's a new announcement. Yeah, so they announced a new version of the old CINÉ Alta Venice camera, which is basically for high-end production purposes, right? People producing movies for like Netflix or any other production, you know, for high-end movies, right? So this is not something that you can get for like, they didn't even announce the price. So this is something you can get maybe around $50,000 or $42,000. I did a little research, and it looks like it's around $45,000, the first Venice. So the version 2, I don't know how much it's gonna cost. So let me see. What did they? Yeah, so it's a CINÉ Alta. I don't know if you're familiar with the CINÉ Alta cameras from Sony, a high-end movie camera, movie production camera, and yeah, it's called Venice 2. So that's what they announced today, and yeah, so not gonna be something that anyone can afford. Honestly, it's something for big boys. So that's that. So if you here just joined, welcome to the live stream. I was about to end it, but again, depending on how many people show up, I may stay on and continue with the next stream. Just 1 second. I just gotta fix a little something on my camera here because it's giving me my autofocus. Just 1 second. Here we go. Let's see how it does. Sorry guys, I was fixing my autofocus. Let me see. It's not even better. Beyond the church budget. Yes, definitely. This is gonna be beyond the church budget. This is not something that I don't think not many churches can afford this kind of camera. So definitely not gonna be something that anyone can afford. So let me see. Yeah. So guys, just hold on a little bit. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I have to work on my camera a little bit. It's giving me an issue. Let me know if you just joined the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know how you're doing this morning or this afternoon. Just trying to work on my camera right now, fixing the autofocus. So just if you guys can hold on a little bit. Just gonna be, this is to say that I need a new camera because I love depth of field, so I'm not gonna use some weird lenses. I like my background blurry, so I'm too greedy. Okay, let's see. So by the way, I'm using a GH5, so I've been testing the autofocus and it's not doing a great job. So you guys understand that if you ever use Lumix cameras, autofocus not good. So don't ever rely on autofocus for Lumix. Most of Lumix cameras, and Nikon is not good. Nikon and Lumix. Maybe the newer cameras maybe are better, but I'm not sure yet. Sony and Canon, they're the best. Let's see. Tell me what you think. Yeah, I think honestly, I think this camera is not really for churches. I mean, unless you like Lakewood Church or Elevation, something like that. I don't think even Elevation. I don't think they use. Yeah, Elevation. I think they spend good money on their cameras. Okay, guys, just give me a second, okay? Please don't leave. I'm just gonna fix my camera and I'll be right back. All right. All right, I guess it's better now. Let's hope it's gonna stay this way. It looks sharp and clean. Yes, guys, welcome back to my live stream. This is Sam Live Production Tips and Tools. If you just joined, we started the live stream talking about the new announcement from Sony, which is the Venice 2 camera. And this is not gonna be for churches or regular videographers like me. This is gonna be for high-end movie production people. So people working for Netflix or working for Disney, like these big budgets movies. So they didn't even announce the price. That's that. Okay, but it's a nice camera. It's 8.6K sensor, and it's called CINÉ ALTA Venice 2. There was a version 1 which was announced back in the day. I can remember, I think it was 2017 or 2018. And so today was version 2, 8.6K sensor. So it's a very, very huge sensor. And 16 stops of dynamic range. So it's really, really good. But honestly, probably not something for me for people, for most of you at least, maybe watching. Let's see. We get Clark for say, what camera did Lakewood use again? Lakewood, actually they use Sony. Oh man, Sony. Let me Google it for you. I can't remember the exact name. Well, the also versus. Okay, I'm kind of frozen here. Just 1 second. Chat. My chat is frozen. Today I'm not having a good day. Live camera. I'm gonna go to my chat. Okay, here we go. So say yeah, so I think the ulcer it's affordable, right? But we're talking about this camera is like 16 stops, right? So it's not the same thing. And the ulcer was 6K dynamic, sorry, not dynamic, 6K sensor, and this one is 8.6. So it's not, you cannot even compare those two, right? But I would say for if you want something that is kind of close to what you just saw, for a cheaper version of Venice 2, I would say the Ultra would be your cheaper option or your cheaper version. So that's what I would say. Let me see. Say what camera did Lakewood Church use again? Yeah, so let me go to, I know it's Sony. UHD something. So if you want to see most of the Sony cameras, you go to their website, and I'm just gonna show it to you guys, and you go to professional cameras, and let me just show you my screen a little bit. So if you go to the Sony, you go to this website from Sony, I think it's Pro Sony, and you can see they have all the cameras. Actually, I think this is the Venice. So these are their digital cinema cameras, right? The Venice. So you can see this is Venice 1, the one that was on the market, and then this is Venice 2, the one they announced today. And yeah, so this is what it looks like. Venice 2. It's a full frame digital cinema camera, and as you can see, I think this is the video that they premiered today. Have some samples, some interviews. Yeah, so all this the sensor information and stuff. So it's an 8K, 8.6K sensor, and all the cropping information here. So this is the one they announced today. Now, if you go to if you go back to digital camera and camcorders, let's go to camcorders. No, it's not gonna be this one. Yeah, studio broadcast cameras. So basically, Lakewood uses this kind of cameras. You can see, and it's one of these. I don't know the exact model, but it's either this one or that one. It's HD 5500. It could be this one or that one. I would have to get up close to see, but if you click on it, it's a it's a 4K, has a 4K sensor, and of course they give you, this is the lens. This is just the basic lens. You see that Lakewood Church has different lenses for it. Has a Fujinon lenses, but yeah, but this is basically it. And then they attach a little bit. They attach there's a fiber converter. So the little thing you see they attach on the back, just to be able to to send the signal via some sort of cable and attach, do more controls and stuff, and send the fiber cable back to the control room. So yeah, so this is basically what Lakewood uses. This same type of cameras. Yeah, they're expensive too, and it's hard to know the price, but they're really expensive. It's not something that anyone can buy. Let's check out this one. This is probably a newer version. HDCF 5500. Yeah, so these are the type of cameras Lakewood Church uses, guys, if you're ever curious to know what they use. So yep. Well, if you guys are watching, let me know where you're watching from. Let me see. They also last week, yeah, I think I respond to that. The also broadcast G2 from Blackmagic is really, it's a good camera. I would say it wouldn't replace the Venice 2, because those the two cameras are not made for the same purpose. So Venice 2 is really made for high-end cinematography, for stuff like Netflix, for things like Netflix or any other kind of movie, like high-end production movie making purpose. So yeah, man, that's true. Yeah, that's where, if you want to go pro, you should that's where you should go. And most of them, you see, they don't have prices, so the buying process is not the same. It's not like you're gonna go to a website and order something, or order it from a website. So most of the time they have sellers you have to kind of contact, and then they give you a code, and then they kind of have to order. Sometimes they have to order from Sony itself. So it's a different process. With the right lights, would you be able to tell the difference on YouTube between the Venice? That's a good question, man. So the thing is, okay, obviously an average person, if an average person, maybe they may not be able to tell, right? But if you are a cinematographer, you can tell the difference between 8K and 6K, right? Like if I give you a 4K image and a 2K or 1K image or 1080 image, you see the difference. So that, I think that's the biggest difference. Also, like the dynamic range, because I believe the also has 13 stops, and the Venice 2 has 16 stops. So that's a lot. That's a lot, guys. Like you can see some of the images. If you can Google CINÉ ALTA Venice on YouTube. Go see some footage that it took, right? Like you can see the darks, like the dark side, the dark part of the image. You can see like the shadows like really, really dark, and they're so clean, right? So that's the power of having a great dynamic range. You see the in low light, you see like it's really black, but you can see all the details at the same time. While for like cameras with lower dynamic range, you're gonna see like blacks will become more like grayish, and they're not like really black, or you start losing details. You see blacks, but they're just dark. You can't see anything. That's really the big difference between those two, as far as dynamic range goes. And then obviously the sensor, all the technology within the camera, the color science. You understand, it's a close to $50,000 camera. It's not, there's a reason why it costs $50,000. Again, I'm saying $50,000. I don't even know, because I checked online. It was saying the Venice one was around 42,000. I'm not sure, so you may have to double check. But these are really high-end, expensive cameras. But again, it comes to the same thing. If you know what you're doing, your lighting is gonna make a big difference. Even if you're trying to see like how they make movies, even if they're using these high-end cameras, you see their lighting is on point. Otherwise, with just using an expensive camera, you're not gonna get a good image. So if you work on your lighting is on a point. Any camera, not any camera, but most of the cameras on the market now, they're gonna be able to give you a very good image. That's the thing, so if you work on your lighting, guys, it's gonna make a very big difference. Like that's like 40% of your image. 40%. I say 40% is your lighting, or more than that. Your lighting is very important, So work on your lighting, and it's gonna make a big difference. It's gonna make a difference for sure. For sure. Guaranteed. So that's that. But other than that, if you are trying to buy some pro cameras for your live stream, I'll say the also broadcast G2, it's a nice camera for sure. It's a good camera, and it's kind of affordable because it's under $4,000. I think it's $4,000, and you can use any lens that you want, B4 PL mount, and you can use EF mount, I think even F mount. So that's really good. If you already have some EF glasses, you're not gonna waste it. So, and it's gonna give you some really decent good image. I think Blackmagic is their technology, or their I think their mission or vision is really to give the high-end quality to the people who cannot afford it, right? So I think that's what Blackmagic is doing. I think that's their vision, and you can see the action. They're succeeding. They are really succeeding, you know. So kudos to Blackmagic, man. Let's see. I think the also G2 would have been 8K if we didn't have a chip shortage, and probably yeah, but again, the higher you go, the more money that you're gonna have to pay, right? So I'm sure they're gonna make an 8K version, because what's gonna happen, we now cameras are shifting to 8K, and right now, like televisions, like TV screens now, I still have a 1080p TV screen, okay? Hopefully, I should be upgrading to 4K, right? YouTube already has 4K live streaming. And I think we're gonna wait maybe another year. Everybody's gonna be 4K, gonna have 4K screens, because right now you can't see any 720p 720p TV screen, or standard TV screen. They're all gone, garbage. So what's gonna happen is now all the newer cameras, they have at least 4K. 4K is like the standard now. 4K is not the standard anymore. Like people now, they're upping their game to 8K, 6K now. So I think the next 2 years we're gonna be fully 4K, everything. I think the next 2 years we may, like in 2025, I think we're gonna be 100% 4K. 4K is gonna become the new standard, and of course these camera companies, they're gonna be making 8K, 12K, 15K, so that's what I think personally. So I think the G2, I think they're gonna make the G3 maybe in 2 years or 1 year. They're gonna make the G3, and it's gonna be 8K for sure, because they don't want to give everything at once. They're gonna give you something and wait for 2 years and give you something else. That's how they do to make money. That's just my opinion. But yeah, you're right too about the chips. It could be that. So that's that. But but Clawford, let me know what are you using for your church live streaming? Let me know in the chat. But yeah, so I mean, Blackmagic is really if you have good budget, if you have a decent, okay, medium budget, you can get something from Blackmagic for any kind of live stream setup, for sure. So Blackmagic, I think they have everything for anyone wanting to get into live streaming. So again, I would say if you get you can get the 4K, the Blackmagic Cinema 4K one. It's still a good camera. It's Micro Four Third. Or you can get the 6K EF mount full frame. But if you want to go more like into broadcast style, then you're gonna be looking at stuff like the broadcast G2. So that's that. Guys, you have to pray for my autofocus. There we go. So that's that. Let's see, George B, welcome to the stream, man. Blackmagic 4K and 6K for church with an ATM Mini Pro ISO. That's what you're using for live streaming. That's dope. That's dope. How many cameras you have so far? Let me know. But that's dope. That's a dope setup, man. That's a dope setup. We're using Sony NX100. Cool. Let me see. George, that sounds good. Yeah, I'm dreaming of that. Yeah, guys, I understand when you're dreaming about some camera, and you can't have it. And you can't have it. Okay, there we go. yeah, it's really hard, but pray for it, man. Pray for it. So for me, what I do, I set some goals. So I will say if I need a camera for live streaming, let's say I will start saving for it, and maybe give myself something like a year, or 6 months, and start saving for it. And that's how I do it. Like right now, I want to buy the 6K, the Blackmagic cinema camera, 6K, the 6K Pro. That's it's on my list right now, and probably gonna be using it to make to make high-end music videos, and live streaming sometimes, but it's gonna be mostly for music videos and stuff like that. For my Lumix GH5, I don't want to replace it because I love it, but I still feel that it's not strong enough. So I'm switching actually to Sony. I'm switching to Sony, not because I hate GH5 or anything. GH5 is a fantastic camera, affordable, good lens choices and stuff. So I'm keeping it, but mostly for like stuff like YouTube, live streaming, you can see that I'm always struggling with autofocus on my live streams. And unless you use a lens that's not gonna give you a blurry background, which is something that I hate. I love my blurry background. It's dope. I think it's nice. So for me to keep that, I'm getting to Sony mirrorless. So I like the autofocus from Sony, and also I feel like the 4K. So I'm gonna I'll try to get something full frame. So GH5 is a micro four third sensor, right? So you understand it's not the same. So for low light, for actually the size of the sensor, and I feel like the 4K from Sony is different. It's not the same as GH5. I love GH5, but the 4K image from the GH5, you can see it's like it's kind of up. It's like you upscaled it, right? Because it's a small sensor. It's not as sharp. It's not as clean. It's not really like ultra HD, like full ultra HD. So I still feel like GH5. That's one of the some of the weaknesses. So that's the reason why I am thinking of switching to Sony. So basically Sony is gonna be my camera for YouTube, for weddings, because I do weddings as well, for shooting weddings, autofocus, music videos too. Sometimes I do music videos, and my Cinema Pocket camera 6K Pro, that's gonna be for mostly like for music videos, like the juicy high-end stuff. So that's that. Again. Yeah. So that's that. So as you can see, my autofocus really, I get frustrated now. Okay, let's see, George. Which Sony are you going to switch to? Oh, that's a good one. So I'm still debating the Sony A7 IV, the new one. I'm looking at that one. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at. I think that's the one that I can afford and be able to buy another Blackmagic camera. So let me show it to you. Let me see if I can find it on Amazon. Sony A. Yeah, I think I got it. Da-da-da-da-da-dum. So yeah, so this is the one that I'm looking at. So the Sony Alpha A7 Mark IV, whatever, or 4. It's about 3,000 Canadian dollars, which is, I think, is 2,500, 600 ish US. So that's what I'm trying to get. So let me know. Do you guys have any recommendation? I think that's gonna be good for shooting weddings and stuff. And it's gonna be, of course, I'm gonna use it for YouTube. The autofocus is gonna be fantastic. Or the new technology. Let's see. Praying for us all. That sounds good, George. Okay. Blackmagic makes it realistic to build a whole system with used B full HD lens for about 25K. Yeah, it's really possible, guys. It's possible. You can actually like, if you know what you're doing, you can go 100% Blackmagic, and you can build a whole TV production or something, like for live streaming or broadcast, or 24/7 TV production kind of thing with Blackmagic. Like, it's really possible, you know, as long as you understand, like, you know what you're doing. Like, you can pick the right cameras from Blackmagic, get the right lenses, get your lighting, get it right, and you should be okay. You should be really good to go. So, like, Blackmagic, affordable. Like, with 20, if you give me 25K, man, I think I'll do miracles. But for me, let me see. So for me, if you give me 25K, I'll probably, okay, if you give me 25K and you tell me you have 25K for 5 years, you're not gonna get any other money until 5 years. So that's a different story, right? So then I'll kind of have to maximize, get like 8 cameras. For me, the standard full set for like a typical musical kind of performing set, I would say it's 8 cameras. That's what Lakewood Church uses too. They use 8 cameras, so that's a good standard. And so I will make sure I get 8 cameras, and probably I'll make sure I get full frame cameras, right? So and yeah, full frame cameras, 4K cameras, and get a 4K switcher, right? Because you're building something that has to last at least 5 years or 10 years, right? So gotta make sure you have your every single camera has 4K and can send 4K for live streaming, and you have a 4K switcher, and get 6, at least, yeah, maybe let's say 6 to 8 cameras. So what would that be? I think Blackmagic would be your first choice for sure, and get some maybe Canon EF lenses. I think Canon full frame EF lenses, they're kind of, one of the best. They're expensive, but they're not too expensive, right? To a degree where you cannot afford them. So I think that's what I would do. What switcher would you recommend? That's a good one. Do you mean like for 25K? Like right now, if you're streaming in full HD, I think Blackmagic, they have good options, right? The ATM Mini Extreme ISO is perfect. But if you going for 4K, a 4K switcher, then that's a different story because it doesn't do 4K. That's the thing. The ATEM Studio, I think there's one that does 4K. Just 1 second. Let's see which one actually that I would recommend, depending on the price, of course. Right now I'm browsing from Canada, so let me put United States. And let's go to products. And let's go to switchers. ATM mini switchers. No, ATM live switchers. So something like the ATM 2M eProduction Studio 4K, that should do, right? Anything 4K, you would have to go with SDI, that's for sure. So I would say this one, either of this, because this is $4,000, this is 6K. Let's see the difference. They even have 8K. Wow. But anyways, so this is 6K. Sorry, 4K, but it costs 6K. Let's see the specs. ATEM 4M Broadcast Studio 4K. Okay, it has 20 inputs. You probably don't need 20 inputs, so that's a no. You probably don't need eight inputs. So for me, I would say let's go with ATEM Television Studio Pro. Let's see. That's probably the one that you need. Converted. Okay, yep. So this should do the job. Yeah, this should do the job. The ATEM Television Studio Pro 4K, and as you can see, how much is it? It's not really expensive. That's what I love about Blackmagic. Their website is cranky sometimes. Yeah, so it's $3,000. So if you get the ATEM Television Studio Pro 4K for $3,000, it has SDI, and get some 4K cameras from Blackmagic or any other. It actually doesn't have to be from Blackmagic. You can try something else. But if you want to stay within the Blackmagic ecosystem, then you go with Blackmagic 4K cameras or 6K, then you should be good. You know, that's just my that's just my opinion. Let's see. We are using Sigma that will go to f1.8. Yeah, that's dope. If you can go to 1.8, man, you get some good looking image. Let's see. This is funny, huh? Oh, okay, maybe I should try that. So let's see, we have George. Yeah, the ATM would not work, man. The mini would not work. But I think Blackmagic is going to release some 4K. I think that's, I'm predicting their next release is gonna be something 4K ATM Mini, because I'm trying to see what's gonna be next for the ATM Mini with all the success they have had. I think they are going to make 4K a 4K version. So they're gonna make ATM Mini Pro 4K and ATM Mini Pro Extreme ISO or Extreme 4K. I think that's gonna be their next move. So either they're gonna go 4K or they're gonna make an SDI version of it. It's gonna be one of those two for sure. Or they're gonna give both. Probably gonna give 4K SDI, something like that. So if you wait for 1 year, maybe things are going to change. That's what I think. The Blackmagic Micro Studio 4K Blackmagic Micro Studio 4K is a great option for stable shots. I've used two before in a church setup. Yeah, actually, yeah, for stable shots too, right? Because I believe they don't have do they have image stabilization? I think not. Maybe. But if you're doing some stable shots, like static kind of thing, I think they're great cameras. They should be under $1,000 now. I think you can get used one for under around $1,000. The Micro Studio 4K, I believe so. So yeah, that's another option for sure. Again, guys, like there's no excuse. Like if you are on budget, like for me, what I tell people, no matter how much money you have, you can build a good setup for live streaming for sure. You don't need a lot of money. You don't need super big budgets to get like a great live streaming setup for sure. So again, I would say for any kind of budget, you should be good. You just need to know what you're looking for. But the first thing, start from your audio, your sound, guys. Your sound is gonna make a big difference. Starting from your sound, then from the sound go to your lighting, and then from your lighting go to your camera. Now for cameras, start from the lens. The lens is gonna be, well, the sensor too, but the lens, because okay, you gotta first, my rule number one, make sure you have interchangeable lenses. And depending, like any sensor, actually, like for interchangeable lens cameras, I think for any sensor you should be good. Like even if you use Micro Four Third, like the Blackmagic Cinema Pocket Camera 4K, it's a Micro Four Third. It has a Micro Four Third sensor, but it's a great camera, right? Just make sure you have good lighting, good lenses for it. You're good. GH5, same thing. It has Micro Four Third sensor, but it's been like one of the best cameras for like everybody. So as long as you get good lenses for your cameras, you're good. So you start from your audio, then from the audio you go to your lighting. Like make sure your lighting is on a point, guys. Like your lighting is everything. Like this live stream right now, the image that you're seeing right now, if it wasn't the background with all the the color that you see from my RGB light and my key light right here, like the image will really look bad. So like it really starts from a microphone, so you guys can hear me well, and it goes to my lighting to make sure I look good on camera and everything. And after the lighting, of course, is the camera. Then the camera, just make sure the lens is good. Make sure, like, I'm right now getting the blurry background, even though I was struggling with the autofocus. But that's like something, that's a feature that you get from the lens itself, the sharpness, the aperture of the lens and everything. And then, of course, the camera itself, the dynamic range and all that kind of stuff. But those are like that's like the last element, So that's how you build a nice live streaming setup, guys. So See, clapboard, ATM Mini Extreme. Yeah, like basically, I think all the HD switchers, I think they're relevant for like 2 years at least. So if you buy something like some HD switcher, keep in mind that in 2 years they may not be uh, as relevant, guys. So that's just that, like, it's technology, because we've been enjoying full HD for quite some time. So I feel like it's time that it's gotta go. It's gotta go, unfortunately. Like, technology is moving fast, so I don't think full HD is going to stay for a long time. That's just my opinion. So I think 4K is gonna be the new standard very, very soon. So again, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy the ATM Mini or ATM Mini Extreme or stuff like that, but it's just like, when you buy, at least it's gonna be good for at least 2 years, 3 years max. I don't know, 5 years. I'm not sure. I wouldn't tell. So that's the thing. So let me know, guys, in the chat. Let me just take a look. Let me know what you think. But let me know what you think, guys. Let me know what you think. How long do you think we have left with full HD? Let me know. By the way, how do you like your NX100? How do you like it? Let me know. Because for me, I've been telling people to stop buying camcorders. Am I being mean to people, or let me know, guys. I've been telling people not to buy camcorders. If you're on a budget, would you get more cameras, 3 or a better switcher? Let me see. If you're on a budget, would you get more cameras or better switcher, 2 cameras? That's a good one. Obviously you need a switcher, right? So, but if you have a switcher that works, I would invest money into cameras instead of buying a wow switcher. Like, I'll give you an example. You can go out and buy the ATM Mini Extreme and use it with 2 cameras. That doesn't make sense. Like, it does not make sense. Buy the ATM Mini Extreme at least if you have at least 5 or 6 cameras. Now, if you have 2 cameras, why do you want to pay extra money for features that you're not going to be able to use? Even if you say, I'm going to buy more cameras maybe in 2-3 years. 2-3 years, full HD may not be relevant, right? So I would say just buy the basic, no more the Pro version, which is 4 inputs, right? Because it's, if you don't even have 4 cameras to actually max out the 4 inputs on the ATM Mini Pro, why would you buy the ATM Mini Extreme? Now, if you have 4 cameras, let's say if you have enough money to buy 3 cameras or 4 cameras, I'll say buy that and buy a decent normal switcher like the ATM Mini Pro. Now, with the ATM Mini Pro, you can go up to 4 cameras, obviously, and you invest money. They say if you need an extra input like a computer or something, you can find some other ways to actually input the computer screen or graphics or lyrics and stuff like that without using the HDMI input on it. You can use stuff like, because you can combine the ATM Mini Pro with something like OBS or vMix, and then you can have some extra inputs. You can actually input using something like NDI and stuff like that. So personally, I think I would invest the money into cameras, because I would just get a decent, okay switcher to do what I need and invest more money into cameras. That's just my opinion. That's what I think. NX100 is the only thing we have. We don't even have a switcher. We use a Blackmagic thing. Okay. That makes sense. So I'm not blaming you, okay? I'm not blaming you. So I understand. I actually, surprisingly, I have the intensity shadow too, but it doesn't work. I used to use it in my church back in the day. And but recently we bought the ATEM Mini Pro, and the intensity shadow doesn't work anymore. Actually, I think they stopped making the firmware or something. It's kind of outdated, and they don't update it, so it's kind of dead. Like, I tried to use it the other day, and it was giving me issues. So I don't know. I don't like how companies do stuff. They release stuff, and because they want to make more money, they stop making updates or for the firmware, and then you end up not using it. Because the intensity shadow is actually good, because you can input HDMI, you can input RCA component, you can input some audio, aux to RCA inputs for aux audio. So like it's a good capture card. But Blackmagic, I don't know. Mine doesn't work anymore. If yours works, man, congrats, because mine stopped working. But yeah, so if you only have one camera, it makes sense. You don't even need a switcher. Don't buy it. Before you buy the Blackmagic, the ATEM Mini or something, try to invest money first. Buy a second camera first before you buy a switcher. That's what I would say. Or buy a cheap switcher, something like the ATEM Mini, the base model, if you, let's say, want to buy a second camera, and get pair it with what you already have. But guys, another thing that I want to tell you, because most of the time we spend a lot of money, because the NX100, I think it's like 2,000 something. With 2,000, did you know you could get two cameras, like something like a GH5. GH5 is like 1,000 something used. You can get used one for like 1,000. GH5 is fantastic. You can get like the GH4. GH4 is really good. You can get it for like around $600. So with the price of one camcorder like NX100, you can get maybe two GH4 or not GH5, maybe two GH4 with lenses, and that's gonna give you like really good image, and you can get to pick the lenses that you want. So that's really fantastic. As for the NX100, I don't know the image. I don't know what it looks like. I'm not sure about the dynamic range. But camcorders, I'm just sometimes, they're easy to use, but sometimes you have a hard time adjusting like stuff like white balance and stuff. And like when you're shooting low light and you kind of stuck with one lens, sometimes it gets annoying. That's just my opinion. And the dynamic range is not that wow. But again, some camcorders are okay, they are good, but I'm still having issues with the fact that you can't change lenses on them. That's just, guys, I just don't like that. I'm sorry for all the camcorder users out there. I'm so sorry, but I'll be always pushing you guys to get into mirrorless. Mirrorless is like unlimited technology. There's no limit, or DSLR. Let's see. We tried NDI on the weekend to bring in OpenLP. Yeah, did it work for you? NDI works fine. Although I think I'm still not sure about any of you guys using PTZ cameras and bringing in the video using NDI. Because I did some install to this church, and I was trying to install some PTZ camera and some PTZ cameras, and I ended up using HDMI actually instead of SDI. Even though I had the option to use NDI, because they were using vMix and they were bringing in like we connected everything via like some Ethernet switch to be able to power everything with PoE. And so everything was connected on the same networks, and we could see the signal in vMix using NDI and everything. But I still feel like the NDI signal is not like 100% good. I feel like it's like it's like a video that's being kind of encoded and decoded. I mean, it's not like bad, but I would still prefer using a cable. But if you're in well, I was using a cable, Ethernet cable, but I still feel like it's not 100% good. That's just my opinion. I feel like HDMI and SDI, they still rock, man. That's just my opinion. But bringing in things like lyrics and open LP or ProPresenter, stuff like that, graphics should be good, honestly. NDI should be perfect, and actually NDI, they're working on it. They're making some new stuff with NDI, so it's going to get even better for sure. So one of the things that you should be excited about for the future, NDI is one of those things for sure. If they keep working on it, NDI is gonna be something for sure. Because back in the day when NDI started, actually it kind of sucked. I'm sorry, but like, because I have a TriCaster, so I'm familiar with new tech stuff, and I tried to use it because in their software you had an option to bring in NDI inputs, and one day back in the day I tried to play video from YouTube using NDI, and it was lagging. It was just bad, and from that day I say I will never use NDI until it became the new thing, like until everybody was like, years after, like when everybody started getting excited about it and everybody was talking about it, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back and check it out. Then it turned out the NDI was actually better. So they have been working hard to make it perfect. I think they'll keep making it. They'll keep working on it, and I can see actually this being used in a setup where probably, because internet is going to improve too, right? So probably with the 5G and stuff, probably we're gonna be able to use Wi-Fi to live stream one day. I don't know, but it may happen, and we're probably gonna be able to get some camera signals using some sort of network or NDI. Because you see that actually they also broadcast G2 already does that, right? So I think that's going to get even better. I don't think they don't use NDI technology, but it's gonna be the same thing. So I think it's going to be interesting. The future of live streaming is kind of it's just exciting, guys. I'm super excited about what's gonna happen, honestly. Let's see. Why is that is why we got it, because of the analog audio. Okay, sure. Does the GH4 have full size? I believe so. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think GH4 has a full size HDMI. Like 95% sure. 95% sure. There's a little 5% that I'm like, does it? Yeah, but I think it does. Yeah, the only camera that doesn't have a full size is the G7. G7 doesn't have full size. G85 doesn't. GX85 doesn't. But GH4 I think has full size. But it doesn't even matter. Like, you can easily get converters like this, stuff like this. Let's see if my camera can focus on it. Probably not. Oh, there we go. Woo! GH5, congrats. Yeah, so you can get like converters like this, just something that will convert from mini or micro to full size. So there should not be a problem. See, I'm afraid of the HDMI mini and micro breaking, and nah. Don't worry about that. You should be okay. Just find a way to like, if you want to buy a camera and you like it, like you should not stop buying from the camera because you should not stop buying the camera because of the size of the HDMI. So even the full size HDMI is still now, it's not like it's still kind of loose, right? Because it's not, it doesn't kind of lock into the camera. The only connection is kind of like professionally good is SDI, because SDI you can kind of lock it in. But for HDMI, full size, mini, micro, they are all not perfect. So you just have to kind of find a way to secure the HDMI cable on the camera. And if you like, you can tape it on the camera, on the tripod or something to make sure it doesn't wobble something, then you're good. So either mini, full, or micro, they're all the same. Even though like mini, you have to convert a little bit. So that's mini or micro, you have to convert from micro to mini. But you can get something like this. Either you get something like this. By the way, this is like a double converter. So I have a micro side and a mini side. So if you can see, and then it converts to full. So basically, I can use this to a camera that has micro, and if I have a camera that has a mini, I can use it too. But you can get something like this, or you can get this some converters you can buy. It's like a cable, it's like an extension. So it's mini or micro, and then it's going to extend to some sort of cable, and then that cable, from that cable you can attach a full size HDMI cable. Or if you're not running long distances, you can get like a mini to kind of full, or micro to full HDMI cable, so you don't have to convert anything. You can find those too. So it really depends on what you want, but you should not worry about like kind of breaking, like, I mean, unless you're rough. So like, just don't be rough, you should be okay. Why I tried NDI was because the CPU on the streaming laptop was going up. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. So were you using, so you tried NDI because the streaming laptop was going over? Okay, so now were you using like multiple capture cards or something to bring in another feed from a different computer? Let me know. NDI is better using another capture card along with the Blackmagic Nancy Shadow. Yeah, true live streaming could move away from HDMI to internet. What do you mean? So do you mean like kind of like going from no using capture cards, stuff like that? Cause I talked about it too last time. What's gonna happen? I think capture cards are going, like, they're not gonna stay for long. I think cameras are going to camera companies are going to start making cameras that can send full USB kind of thing, or they have some sort of like capture card built into the camera. So like it would be a USB from the camera sending full HD or full 4K whatever signal. Like not what they're doing now. What they're doing now is not good, because if you're trying to send a USB signal from like the GH5 or something, it's not perfect. It kind of lags. You're not getting full resolution and everything. But I think they are going to work on it to make sure it gets to a level where you can just plug in a USB cable or some sort of like SDI. No, not SDI, because if you do SDI, then you have to do the capture card thing. So I think it would be like some sort of like the PTZ, actually, like the way PTZs do. So it would be like some sort of NDI technology-ish kind of thing. And then you can have all your cameras connected to the same network kind of thing with the switch. And you can get the signal maybe into the computer using something like NDI or some other technology. I think that's what the whole thing is going. So like for me, live streaming for YouTube, I'll just use my GH5 connected to the computer and never have to worry about getting a capture card. I think that's where the live streaming is going, personally. So was thinking of getting Canon M50 to get a second angle with NX. Well. First of all, the Canon M50. I hope you're getting Mark II, because Mark I, it does have a clean HDMI, but it's not like you can use, if you want to use autofocus, you can use autofocus on it, and it's this kind of clean HDMI that you have to kind of go to info kind of button. It's like it was not built for like live streaming kind of thing. So like the best clean one is the M50 Mark II, but I still feel, my personal opinion on the M50 is that it's a good camera, but I feel like it's kind of limited. I think it's made for more for people like content creators, you know, for vlogging, creating YouTube videos and stuff. You know, as far as like lens choices go, sensor size and stuff like that. So I feel like, why don't you consider stuff like again, depending on your budget, GH, why don't you go for GH4, something like the GH4 GX8, not GX85, it's too small maybe, but go the G85 is good, the Lumix G85, or try some Sony like A6400 Sony cameras and stuff like that. That's for me, that's what I would recommend for church live streaming if you're trying to get a mirrorless. Canon M50, yeah, it's a good camera, but I just feel like it's not. It's like buying, I don't know if you know the Sony ZV-1. Buying a Sony ZV-1 for church live streaming. It's too tiny, it's too small. And you're not gonna get lenses for it for easily get. I mean, you can. It's not interchangeable lenses. M50 you can change lenses on it, but I just feel like you have more options, more lens options by going with the mirrorless, a APS-C sensor, or Sony camera, or going for something like a Lumix camera. So let me know what you think, but that's just my opinion, man. M50, unless you want to use it sometimes for your, let's say if your pastor maybe sometimes does some Zoom calls at home and you want to use it for family photography, you know, at home with your family, or YouTube if you have a YouTube channel, or you do some live streaming for Facebook, you know, stuff like what I'm doing now. But for church live streaming, I still feel like M50 is not made for that. Personal opinion though. It will still work. Would that work better than the GH4? Yeah, I think GH4 it's a good camera, man. Like, it's really good. If you have a budget for a GH4, get a GH4. If you have a budget for GH5, it's even better. Now, if you have a budget for a Sony APS-C sensor, then that's even better, because especially if you're looking for if you want to be using some autofocus on it. So that's my opinion. Let's see. Regarding HDMI going away, talk about camera to mixer with also the streaming bridge idea would cut out the capture cards. Yeah, so talk about camera to mixer. to mixer or to mix with the also the streaming bridge idea. So if I understand your question, again, this is just my personal opinions about the capture cards and stuff like that. I just feel like with the ulcer, obviously, you see, are you still using switchers? So but when I say capture cards, I feel it's more like this little capture cards for like, oh, switcher, not mixer. Okay. So like capture cards that I think they're going is like these little capture cards we use for internet live streaming, like for YouTube and stuff like that. I think they're going. Now, for bigger productions, we're still gonna have switchers because you use a switcher obviously to switch your cameras, right? So it's gonna be hard for like bigger productions to just get rid of switchers. That's gonna be hard. But smaller productions, I think they're gonna find a way to have some sort of like an app, or like even vMix can do it now. So if you have like 2-3 GH5 cameras connected to a network, or like like the way PTZ camera actually operates right now, you can have the same thing on GH5 or GH6 or GH10, something like that, and you get the signal, like the feed from the camera within vMix, right? Like by using NDI or some sort of networking technology, and you're good to go. Like you didn't need to get a physical switcher. You just had to connect your cameras to a network, and then you get all the inputs coming through, through your software switching, your switching software like vMix or OBS, and then you're good to go. And you can color correct your image. You can do a lot of stuff with that. That's good. Now with the ulcer, so that's where I see it's going. Now with the ulcer broadcast G2, sorry, you can see that with the fact that you can actually live stream using the streaming bridge, it's already like, that's like a good thing, because you basically can control the camera. You can have the camera anywhere in the world, by the way, anywhere in the world, and be able to send the feed from the camera to a switcher that's sitting somewhere thousands of miles away. That's where technology is going. So, but I still feel like for bigger productions, we still gonna need some physical switchers, because at the end of the day, if you have 8 cameras, you need some sort of control, and you cannot do it by just using a software and then controlling everything in the software. So like you still need that physical thing. As far as cabling, maybe cabling may change. So we may find a way to kind of send the feed without using like long cables like HDMI cables or SDI cables or fiber. So probably newer technology that will ensure some sort of signal transmission without having to use cables. So that's probably coming. Like that's gonna happen for sure. So that's what I see. Again, this is just me trying to predict the future of live streaming. Now, the very they say like 10 years from now, for sure, with the new Facebook Meta thing, the VR, I think with the VR technology is going to change the game. I think, and I'm 100% convinced that this is going to change the game. I think Meta or Facebook Meta or Metaverse or any other VR technology is going to take over. Once that takes over, the live streaming game is changing. I think we are going to be having like virtual reality experience for live streaming. Especially, I can see that being useful for churches, for events, big events, if you live streaming, and people going to be charging money, especially for big events, they're gonna be charging money for that. Like you can, if you cannot attend in person, you can have a VR kind of experience of the event. That's gonna be kind of dope. And yeah, you just sit home and you have your VR headsets or some sort of glasses, whatever it could be, and then you live stream and you watch the event in 3D, like in VR. It's gonna be dope. You're just gonna feel like you're there because it's gonna be in like in 3D kind of thing, and you see the space in 3D. So like the 2D thing is, it won't be relevant anymore. So the thing, I think that's coming too. Like if I was a big rich dude, I think I was gonna invest in that kind of technology. But I think that's really coming, and it's going to change the live streaming game. Live streaming, even the way we watch some videos, I think it's going to change. Again, for VR, it's still like the fact that VR, I still feel like it didn't like even 3D. Like you remember when 3D came, started. 3D movies, like everybody was excited about it. Like 3D movies, you had to pay a little extra for that. I don't even know if they're still making 3D movies in movie theaters, but you can see that it didn't get. I don't think it was successful that much, because there's always that fact of having to wear glasses and stuff like that. So like it just became like, man, whatever. Like, but if it comes back in a way that it's a new experience for live streaming, like for you to feel like you are there, for you to feel like you are with the people, especially let's say if it's a church and you cannot attend the church service, and you feel like you want to just watch live, but instead of watching in 2D, watching in 3D, you have your 5.1 or 7.1 surround sound, kind of feeling like you are there. Man, I think that's gonna change the game. That's gonna change the game, because it's like you're there physically. So I think that's where the whole live streaming thing is going. So do me a favor, if you're watching, can you share the stream to someone you feel might be interested into live streaming, or may enjoy the streaming? Let me know. But yeah, so guys, like, thank you guys for joining today's stream. I know we started talking about Sony and the Venice 2 release. Then we got into our own conversation. I wanted to kill the stream and go create a new stream and just talk about, our regular topics on the live stream. But I decided to stay, just chat a little bit. This is going to be like a 2 hours long live stream today. So, yeah, just having fun with you guys. VR audio, 360 audio. Yeah. So this is where it's going, the whole thing, man. This is where the whole thing is going. Like, yeah, so like, Cloudford, for they also broadcast G2. Like, I think I talked about it though, right? It's really like mainly it has SDI, by the way. You can still connect it using SDI and stuff like that. But the streaming bridge is a game changer, because the camera itself can live stream. Now, they didn't mention with the update, their firmware update, they did not mention exactly how you can live stream to YouTube using the camera. See, that's where we are at, guys. That's where we are now. Like, cameras that can live stream to YouTube. think about it. Like, think about it. So like, you have a camera, and within the camera, like, I have my GH5, I can just turn it on, and then like the same way I use my cell phone to live stream on YouTube, you'll be able to live stream from your camera directly to YouTube or to Facebook, whatever. That's gonna be fantastic. You have your mic, little bit of lighting and stuff, and then you'll be able to live stream on YouTube. That's fantastic. Now with the new the Black Magic, whatever, the broadcast G2 is the same thing. You are able to live stream on YouTube, but like they didn't give all the details on how to do it. One feature that they mentioned, of course, is the fact that you can live stream to a streaming bridge, which is sending a signal, a wireless signal, a wired signal to, let's say, if the G2 is connected to a network in some sort of like network infrastructure, then the streaming bridge is going to be able, the camera is going to be able to see the streaming bridge on the same network, and is going to be able to send the signal to it. A streaming bridge connect to a switcher, then you'll be able to see the feed. But not only that, you can also send the signal wirelessly. You can using your phone's data connect to the camera, and the camera is going to use your phone's data to live stream, to send a live stream signal. Now that signal can be sent to a streaming bridge. Now I'm assuming that this is gonna be, probably is gonna work for NDI as well. I'm not sure, but they may make it in a way that the camera, the broadcast G2 will be able to send the signal through NDI, and then from vMix, vMix or OBS or any software that can take NDI will be able to see the camera signal through through some sort of network. That's another thing that I can see, because if they are able to send the signal to a streaming bridge, that means that signal can be sent to anything the user's network, right? So that's probably something that's coming. They didn't say it, but I can see it happening too. So imagine using your camera as a PTZ camera, basically using NDI, connect to a network, boom, and then from the Ethernet cable you go back to your vMix, and then you'll be able to get the feed from the camera. That's gonna be dope, so like, that's really good. So guys, let me know what you think, but that's what I think. That's what's coming for sure. That's going to happen, and it's going to change the game. So let me see, my friends were supposed to join the stream. Let me see. So I can see that happening. The whole game is going to change for sure. Let me just give me a second. So guys, if you have questions, I'm about to end the stream, but if you have questions, let me know. The last questions, I'll be ending the stream in 10 minutes. I've been here for 2 hours today. Started with the Sony announcement, and now we are talking about live streaming in general. So let me know what you guys think of what's coming in the live streaming game, So, but other than that, obviously, I didn't talk about today. I didn't talk about streaming software and stuff like that. But as for streaming software, I think OBS is here to stay as well. OBS, I think they're doing a fantastic job, and YouTube is actually investing in OBS. They have been helping them to add few features, because it's a free software. So always tell people, use a free software if you can. As for there's something else I wanted to talk about, actually, about audio. I don't know. Let me see. If you guys are watching, let me know in your church or your live streaming setups, how do you capture your audio? I think I'm gonna talk about this on my next live stream, the audio part, because the way to capture your audio for live stream and not use the same audio, but have a separate audio for your monitor, for your in-ear monitors, if you use in-ear, or some monitoring purposes, and have a separate mixing console for your front of house mixing. Now, is this a thing that everybody should start doing? I want to see what you guys think. Let's see. Yeah, you gotta know how to do it. How difficult will it be to match the camera's NX? Yeah. So, it all comes down to, let me see. So, the fact that it's a Sony camera, it's gonna help you, right? Because the color science is gonna be close, right? It's gonna be almost the same. It could be not 100% the same because of obviously the dynamic range from the A6400 and stuff. Sorry, but you should be good if you know what you're doing. So let me give you my tip. My number one tip to do stuff like this: start with your white balance. If you get your white balance right, that's like 75% of your work is done. Your white balance. That's my key secret to balancing or matching cameras. Because I remember there's a stream that I was using 2 Nikon cameras and 2 GH5s, and I had to balance to match the image. So if your white balance, most of the time you're gonna have to start with the camcorders, because the camcorders, they have their menu is really limited. I don't know the NX100 specifically, but most of them, they don't have like a menu for that will look like something from a mirrorless, right? So start with your NX100, and then make sure you just like set the white balance. If you have a way to set a custom white balance, you can use your key light. Look at the key light that you're using, or the lighting that you have in your church, and use that. So if it's a light, it's a daylight temperature, use that. If it's some sort of 400, 500, 700 Kelvin, like if you have the exact number, use that and dial it in, put in the camera, and if you have an option to do that. Now, if you don't, most of the cameras, they give you auto white balance, or they give you indoors, outdoors, and they give you some sort of like reference number where you can change it. Now you can change it, but they give you like 3 options for like daylight, indoors, and stuff like that, for most used lighting, lights for indoors. And then you can see the number. It could tell you, it may say 3200 Kelvin or 4000 Kelvin, whatever it may be. So make sure you get that number from your key light, and then pull it in, find a way to get into your camera, the NX100. Now, once you have it all set, looking good, and then go back to your A6400, you should have like an easy way to just set it in a way that the white balance is exactly the same from the actual camera, the NX100. Now, once you have that, you have like you have like your 75%, 75% of the job will be done. From there, you can actually make it, just do little tweaking on the dynamic range. Sometimes you see the contrast, the sharpness, things like that, just to make sure that the contrast is the same. Sometimes you switch from camera 1 to camera 2, and you see like one camera is kind of too contrasty, or it has more saturation than the other. So you may end up having to lower the saturation on the A6400, again depending on the dynamic range difference between the two cameras, but that should give you an idea. I think that helps. I think that will help you a lot. Your white balance, number one. Once you have your white balance set, the fact that they're all from Sony, it's a good thing, right? So the color science will be almost the same for sure. So yeah, it's not easy, but it's doable. Let me see. Audio from analog mixer straight to the Blackmagic. Okay, yeah, well, yeah, for a small setup, you don't really need to have many mixers and stuff like that. That should do the job, you know. But once you get a little bigger, I think you will need to start investing into getting you know, get like a digital mixer to start with. Your next step, just like once you have your cameras and stuff, think about investing in a small digital mixer, and that digital mixer, get a laptop or something that you can send via USB or the feed from the mixer, so you can have your mixer, your digital mixer, mixing for your front of house or your like the room sound for the people in the room. Then you get to send all the channels from the digital mixer to a laptop, something on the side that would actually, you know, use something like Logic Pro or like any other DAW, like digital audio workspace, workstation. So like that will help you to be able to actually do a separate mix for your live streaming. That's gonna make a big difference, because the thing is, if you are live stream, if you're getting the sound from the room and you're giving the exact thing to the audience online, it's not, the experience is kind of like the experience they're getting is not the same as what people are getting in the room. In the room, you have the speakers amplifying the sound and everything, but I don't know if I don't know your YouTube channel, but I'm assuming your sound is kind of dry, and sometimes when singers are singing, sometimes they go off pitch and you're gonna hear every little mistake they're going to make. Your drums, you may be having some issues with your drums and stuff. So basically, it's because you're taking the room sound and sending it to live stream. It's okay to start, but like I'm gonna challenge you, because live streaming is evolving. So I'm going to challenge you to kind of keep working on improving. So your next step should be really to get into getting a digital mixer. Now they're cheaper. Back in the day, they used to be expensive, but now you can get a decent digital mixer for like under, maybe around $2,000. Then from that, again, you're gonna be able to create a specific mix for your online audience. That's gonna help a lot. So that's my opinion. So once you have that laptop, you can run any software that you want and mix your audio. You can create templates for like compress your drums, make sure they sound like really good, make them sound like Elevation Church, get all the templates. Some people buy templates from Bethel, and they like see like that's how good you could sound, like if you work on your mix. Because at the end of the day, if you have good singers and good musicians, you just gotta work on your craft, just work on your mix, add presets and everything, create a mix that will sound really, really good. And then that mix is what people online are going to watch. So basically, you can use just the same digital mixer with the laptop on the side and create two mixes. Now, once you get extra big, you have a big band and everybody's, using in-ear monitor and everything, then you can think of buying a third mixer for in-ears. So like you're gonna have 3 engineers, 1 engineer mixing for in-ear, like people on stage, just for the stage, and then another person mixing for the room, and then another person mixing for online. That's like your pro level now. So think about that. Let's see. we have no streaming audio mixer, so we can't sweeten for online. Yeah, I understand, man. I understand. It's everybody starts from there, so no pressure, but just think about it. So like in 1 or 2 years, I don't know, depending on the kind of budget that you're working with, but think about it, because your audio, man, it's a big part of your live stream. You know, as far as you want to buy these fancy cameras and fancy switchers, if you ignore your audio, you are missing out. You know, you're missing out. With COVID, the limited number in the room echo, and there's nothing we can do now to fix it. Oh, okay. So you want me to give you some tips? You need to buy some. Try to treat your room with. You can build your own panels, like soundproofing panels, or you can. There's some companies that will do it for you, but it's expensive, so I'm not gonna recommend that unless you have money, a lot of money. But you can use something like, I don't know if you have a carpet on the floor, or if you have, try to get curtains, right? Curtains, they're gonna do the job. Like, I don't know what your room looks like, obviously, but you can get like curtains and have them within. There are curtains that like they are kind of soundproof, and you can get those, and you can have some panels somewhere on the wall, and like just like DIY kind of stuff to kind of soundproof your room. It's doable, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. It's just kind of trying to be creative. It's doable, right? So again, feel free to, if you need my like tips, like kind of you want me to take a look, just send me an email. If you go to my about section on my YouTube page, send me an email. Maybe I'll take a look one day. You can put me on Zoom and I can take a look. Maybe I may be able to recommend some tips for you guys. Let me see. Yeah. So like it's not about, I don't think it's about the mixer. I think it's about just the room, because it's not treated. Like even if you have analog, either you have analog or digital, it's not gonna make the acoustics of the room change, right? So it's more about just like the sound coming from the speakers, the actual speakers in the room. That's what creates the echoes, because the room is not treated. So again, you can treat the room, and once you have it treated, it doesn't matter the kind of mixer you're using. It actually has to do more with the speakers that you are using, rather than the mixer that you are using. Yeah, but eventually, again, once you get the budget, start thinking of getting a digital mixer, and then from digital mixer you can create a separate mix for your online audience. Who's Champ Media UK? Welcome to the stream. I'm actually ending, but welcome to the stream. I appreciate you being here. Welcome. Yeah. So like, I think I'm gonna make a video about this, about the audio, really, like, because people, it's not, I think we tend to think, because we are a small church, or we have a small setup, that we don't need to get a separate mix for our online audience. I think it's a misunderstanding, or it's just not knowing. It's not knowing the importance of having a good audio for online, because we think, oh, I have my sounds good, I'm just gonna plug from my mixer and send it, like get an output from the mixer, the main board, and just send it to my capture card or my switcher, and then for people online, that's what they're gonna get. It's a different world, it's a different mix, it's a different audience. You should treat them separately. Like, it's really separate. Like, it's like what I'm doing right now for you guys. I'm streaming live on YouTube. I have people watching, sometimes from UK, sometimes from Africa, from India, US, Canada. So like, I need to like the way I talk, the experience that I create for you guys, it's gotta be custom made for you, for the online audience. It's not gonna be as me talking to people locally. Like they say sometimes I'm actually planning on doing some local workshops for like teaching how to edit videos, Premiere Pro and stuff like that. If I do it locally in the room, it's not gonna be the same as having something like an online course, because the audience is different, right? So it's the same thing. The audience is different. The online audience is different from the actual room audience. So that's why even like mostly the audio, it's gotta change a little bit. Like the way you mix, the way it sounds is not the same. So you gotta treat it, have an engineer dedicated for that, and that's how you build the audience. Like, let me tell you guys, like I've seen at other churches, like mostly YouTube channels don't grow. Have you wondered why church YouTube channels don't grow that much? Like most of them? Have you wondered why? It's because, my personal opinion, is because I feel like most churches, they're live streaming for the actual audience they have in the room, or their YouTube channel. The content that they're making it's like it sounds, or it's made for the people in the room. However, you want to reach the world, you want to reach the online community, and I feel like that's the biggest mistakes. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of churches are making, actually. Or maybe it's not, I don't want to call it a mistake, it's just not knowing. Because at the end of the day, if you want to stream for your audience, if you want to create content for your audience that you already have, you can simply make videos, maybe live stream over Zoom or Facebook groups or unlisted, and then send links to your people or something like that. But if you want to live stream for or create content for the entire world, like the whole online community, you gotta think about somebody who doesn't know you, right? Like, they say some random church from, I don't know, some small town in Canada or Africa or Asia, whatever, called random church, something like that, and they have a Sunday service, right? Streaming online. Hello, welcome to Random Church, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and then the pastor will come preach, and then the name of the message will be something like, the grace of God. Like something really normal, local, biblical, to the audience in the room. And the worship is going to be same thing, like, amazing grace, stuff like that. So think about that service. Me as a person who's watching from, let's say YouTube is going to suggest the video to me, and what I'm gonna see, the first thing I see, the thumbnail, I'm gonna see the picture of the pastor that I don't know. That's one on the thumbnail. Okay. Second, I'm gonna see the name of the church, and maybe it's gonna say Random Church, and then Sunday service. I'm not gonna watch that. Either I believe in Jesus or not, either I go to church or not, I'm not gonna watch. I'm not gonna click to that video. Never. I'm not gonna click to it because I have no idea what it is about. Like, think about it. And people expect their YouTube channels or their church YouTube channels to reach. And that's the vision. That's the vision that we all have. Like all the church, most of the churches, like, we're gonna buy cameras, we're gonna buy switches, we're gonna buy, we're gonna buy this technology stuff to reach the online community. Now, live streaming is a thing. Everybody's gotta do it. We want to reach, but the way we are reaching is not making any difference, because we are still preaching to the same people. We are still creating content to the same people in our in the same churches. So what's the whole point? What's the point of being online if you cannot reach people? So my point is, if you guys getting what I'm trying to say, is if you want to reach, if your main goal is to reach people who are not saved, people who don't know God, who don't know Jesus, and you want to reach, maybe let's say two kinds of people. First kind is the people who don't know Jesus, who don't know Christ, who don't go to church, and you want to kind of preach to them. Second kind of people is the people who probably go to church, but maybe want to want to get refreshed and some encouragement and stuff like that, but who don't know you, who don't know about your church, who don't know the name of your pastor, who know nothing about you. That's the second kind of person you want to reach. Now, to reach those kind of people, you need to change your messaging. You need to change the way you package your videos online. You can't just put random church or your church name, Sunday service, and then you put a date. That's not gonna make me watch your video if I don't know you. The only person who's gonna watch that video is somebody who already knows you, who probably goes to your church and missed the church service, or who knows the pastor or the pastor's name who they have met somewhere. That's the only person who's going to click on your video. Now, I know that's a little like, okay, that's harsh. So how should we do it? For Sunday services, it's a little different. Because if you see like these big churches like Lakewood, Elevation, Bethel, sometimes they just say online experience, Lakewood Church, and then they put the name of the speaker and stuff like that, because the speaker is known, is a public figure. Now people are going to watch because they know the person. Now, if it's somebody who's not known, for Sunday service, I say maybe you're kind of limited to maybe putting the name of the person who's going to preach and the message. Maybe that's fine. But your thumbnail, try to make it something about, depending on the topic you're preaching on, try to get a topic that anybody can understand, like anybody who doesn't know you or anybody may be interested in. Something like how to I'm trying to find an example. 5 reasons why God exists. Maybe that's not a good topic for a church, a Sunday service, but something for like your regular videos you post on YouTube channel. It could be something that will attract somebody who does not know God, who doesn't believe in God, who's new to your channel. And I think that's something that YouTube can easily suggest to somebody who doesn't know you. Something like 5 reasons why God exists, or how to overcome sexual sin. Like topics that people can easily relate to, or something like how to overcome pornography addiction, or how to overcome alcohol addiction, or cigarettes, or or depression, like things that people kind of go through in real life, and then kind of relate that to the Bible, and then package your thumbnail in a way that somebody who's watching, who doesn't know about you, doesn't care about you, doesn't care about your church, is going to see the thumbnail and the packaging of the content and feel attracted to it. And then once attracted to it, they're going to listen to you. Now you make sure you deliver your audio, your sound, your image, your messaging. Most importantly, the content itself, there's some value in there, and then you add in some Bible verses and stuff, and then once you have the person's attention, you most likely to get the person to keep watching and subscribing to your channel and get to know your church and get familiar. And that's how you build the online community, using or from the people actually that don't know you, that have no idea of who you are as a church. So that's that's just my tip, guys. That's just my tip, and I just feel like that's one of the reasons why most churches not growing. Like you see, YouTube channels for churches are like under 100 subscribers, and they're like posting every week posting a video or two videos, but their subscribers don't grow, their audience is not growing, they're not reaching, even though they claim they want to reach people, but they're not reaching people because the packaging is not done right, you know. So that's just my opinion. You see, true, we are often just look to the camera at what we are already do. Yeah. So like that's just the way I see it, guys. So again, guys, that was just my little tip for growing YouTube channels. I think I'm gonna make a video about it, and hopefully a lot of people, church folks, will watch it. But that's just what I feel about it. So again, guys, today's been a long live stream, 2 hours and 17 minutes, 18 minutes actually. So thank you, man. Thanks, Clapford, for hanging out with me. You have been, man, like you kept the chat going and a lot of questions. Thanks for being here. And Champ Media, I don't know if you're still here, but thank you for joining. And see some other people who came in and left, but I still got Zach. I think he came in and left. But anyways, thanks to everyone who joined the stream. I appreciate you being here. I'm probably gonna come back next week on Friday, so catch me and let's have fun. Send me some topics, some things that you want me to talk about. But most of the time I really talk about live streaming and video recording. I talk about cameras. When I have some announcements, like today we had the Sony Venice 2 announcement. Sometimes I would do things like that. Last week we had the Blackmagic Broadcast G2 announcement as well. So kind of watched live and reacted live to that. But other than that, really live streaming, video recording, cameras, switchers, software for live streaming and stuff like that. That's what the channel is about. For anyone into live streaming or creating video for social media content creation, for churches, for freelancers, like I kind of relate to those kinds of people, because obviously I have a background in church media production. I have a background in freelancing for video production, and at the same time I have a YouTube channel, this one that you're watching right now. So that's why I relate to and I create content for all those kinds of people. So guys, again, I thank you for being here. Cloudford, thanks for a great live stream. All my questions were all right, man. I appreciate you being here. Make sure you tune in next time. Let me know, update me if you need help with anything. You can email me if you want me to take a look at your room. You can email me. We can do something over Zoom or something. So feel free to reach out anytime. And yeah, I appreciate you, man, and all the people who've been watching this stream. Other than that, guys, I will see you on my next live stream again on Friday next week. I may do a surprise live stream depending on what's happening. If there is an announcement or something, I may kind of pop up announced. But other than that, I try to stay on schedule. So that's how I do things. And I post videos mostly once or twice a week, depending. If I do a live stream, I do post a video as well. So I always have something uploaded, at least 2 things uploaded every week, to make sure I give you the best tips and tools for live streaming and video recording. I appreciate your time again, and I appreciate you for being part of live streaming tips and tools family. My name is Sam, and I will see you on my next live stream or my next video. Take care.